Hello, Maverick traders. Welcome to the market roundup. Joe with you here. It's the 16th of April. It's Wednesday. You guys know how this works. I've got one more week before I'm in Vegas, the 26th and 27th. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys down there. But what I'm looking forward to, folks, is I get to talk about building a trading plan using AI. That's right, folks. If we know how to ask it, it's going to take a lot of the work out for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I'm going to take a look at the meaningful news of the day. We'll take a look at the markets overall, technically, and if I've got some trades to share, I definitely will.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
As we move into the market analysis, folks, you'll see it's another day that rolled over, right? And it confirmed a pretty good technical level. Straight up to the daily news, U.S. markets continue lower today, confirming a technical rollover. We don't get that nice clean rollover to where we can get into positions to the bear and bull side, but overall, it is still definitely bearish. We did get a huge surge in retail sales for March. Could this be a reaction to some of the fears and worries about what the tariff impact will be? Because once again, this is a month delayed. It could, but once again, it was super high. We also had Powell come out. He acknowledged this, saying that, worries are out there, but it takes a pause on the rate decision because we're seeing a lot of strength in some of these economic numbers. They could be a little bit delayed or just slow. How do we finish overall? Well, the Dow was down 1.73%. You can see it here, S&P 3% on the Qs. The Russell hung in there pretty good, just shy of 1%. Oil had a big move to the upside, and gold as well. Now understand that oil is still very low relatively at 62.74 barrels. So even though it had a pretty good surge to the upside, there is still anticipation of a slowdown, not only locally but globally. Let's take a look at the advanced decline line. 67% declining, 30% advancing, above below the 50-day moving average, 85 to 50. Now, folks, there it is. 85% below the 50, 15% above. I'm looking for outperforming and underperforming versus sector and stocks itself, and it's very difficult to find anything bullish here in the shorter term. So let's just get straight into the charts. And this is what makes things fun, but at the same time difficult, right? You've got a huge move to the downside, gaps up, big move to the upside, gap in the center, all sorts of things moving. A gap down today that actually moved lower. The volume is kind of sporadic and all over the place. And what's tough to do as a trader is try to mute that and just take a look at the pattern overall. Follow that 20-day moving average, taking a look at support and resistance levels. I mean, this is a nightmare of a market when it comes to anybody that's trying to do something shorter term, just because of the volatility, the volume, the reaction, the price action makes things difficult. However, it is still adhering to the overall motion of the ocean at this point, which is a bear rally back up to resistance and moving lower. Now, that can absolutely change, folks, in an instance. We're in a situation to where we can get announcements or some sort of policy change that can change things quite a bit. So you're kind of susceptible to that. But if you take a look at the overall motion, you actually do have kind of the advantage. You just have to be a little bit wider when it comes to your risk parameters. Here's the Q. The Qs, the same idea. It's got that same trend. It's moving lower. It's looking good. Gap down today with a little bit more volume. We'll see what happens over the next day or so, but it did confirm the same trend, a little bit of a bear rally into resistance. So on the heat map side, folks, it's just the same thing. Anything that's susceptible to tariffs, anything that's susceptible and worries about when it comes to restrictions overseas, specifically China, it's definitely going to handle, or I should say impact technology, communication services, stuff like that. And that is kind of what we're seeing here, more of the same. Now, folks, I'll let you know that I've kind of dug through this looking for something to be bullish on, and there's just not much out there because it's kind of a general move to fear, a little bit of weakness. Even though the VIX has come off of its highs, there is still a little bit of reluctancy, and that's actually healthy when it comes to a bear market. So this is my outlook. I don't see much changing. I'm just following the overall pattern itself. I know that we have a market that has broken some levels, and they've broken them pretty aggressive. A lot of it had to do with some announcements, some things coming out of left field. But it was very easy for me to roll this back out to a -3, just based on how quickly we failed from that resistance. I thought for sure we would at least kind of test this area here a little bit more before we rolled over, and it doesn't look like these markets want to. So on the weekly side, I'm a -2, and on the monthly, I'm a -3. So not much has changed when it comes to our outlook. Now, what is difficult, it's very difficult to kind of find some trades that are kind of following along. So I did dig into some of the sectors that were holding on. You guys could take a look at some of the stronger sectors over the last little bit, and there's a whole heck of a lot of bears out there. Everything's looking a little bit bearish, but I did find a couple of trades that I thought were kind of fun. I've got Philip Morris here, and I've got Anheuser-Busch on the bull side. And on the downside, I've got Amazon, Toll Brothers, and Cisco. It's just kind of the same pattern. No matter what sector you're in, no matter what you're looking for, they do have the same sort of a bearish rally and rollover. So here's Philip Morris. It's having a pretty good move to the upside. It is reluctant to move any higher. I would expect it actually to consolidate or even pull back a little bit, but this is something to maybe put on your watch list. This is a pretty sizable candle when it comes to volume, and it does have its earnings coming up. So we are in earnings season. I know, folks, it's crazy because there's so much going on, and we kind of push earnings to the side, but make sure that you put that in the back burner when you make a decision on your trade. I like the pattern overall, and that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for. I don't think that Philip Morris might be a great trade. It makes sense here. It's close to its earnings, but this is the pattern you guys need to look for when it comes to bullish. You need to see something that's sustained itself for quite some time. I don't want you guys to mistake a bullish move off of something that's been falling along with the rest of the markets. These are these reluctant, or I should say, these are these rare outperformers. And if you're looking to put money to the bull side, they're hard to find, but you can find them. The problem being is once stuff flips over, these things are going to have the biggest correction. Now on the bear side, I pulled Amazon out because it's just an easy target, but it's the pattern I want you guys to focus on. This isn't exactly, hey, this is the best chart to trade. This is not what I'm looking at, but it's the pattern. The idea that it's failing, it's not working. When the markets fail, this fails. What's leading the markets? Where's the fear? What sectors are getting hammered? What ones are going to be the most worrisome? The ones that react? That's all we have right now. And what I can correlate with is the overall pattern of it technically. So if it technically correlates with the overall markets, I know it's an underperformer, or I know that it has something or some problems that it has to deal with moving forward. So Amazon's a great example. I like the trade's great. But any chart that looks like this is also probably great. It just depends on what happens moving forward. But it's a very difficult market because it's a reactionary market based on any sort of tariff announcement that can happen at any time. So overall, folks, it really just depends on where you find it. I found a lot of bearishness. You guys saw the bear bull ratio, a lot of bears across all sectors. The stocks that seem to continue to be bearish and continue to set those lower lows, lower highs with the trend are the ones that are more susceptible to tariffs. However, there are a few stocks out there that remain, they are hard to find, and I am just a little bit skeptical that if the markets decide to flip-flop, those are going to get hurt. Best to make sure that you keep something super wide, or you can kind of stay out for now. We do have the jobless claims and the Philly Fed. Once again, folks, these economic numbers have been actually strong over the last couple of weeks, but is it a reaction to fear what could happen, or is it something that could sustain us moving forward? Powell seems to be a little bit reluctant. However, they're stable enough and strong enough to where they cannot implement rate cuts just yet. Markets will be closed on Friday for Good Friday for the Easter weekend. Make sure that you're aware of that. So if you have options that expire, they will be expiring after tomorrow's close. We are moving into earnings season. However, that's going to be a very interesting earnings season as a lot of these numbers will not include what could happen moving forward with this tariff. So it's going to be a very difficult situation. However, it will have an impact based on forward-thinking sentiment. Just be aware of it. Stay safe out there, folks. Looking forward to seeing you at the summit for those who are going, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, folks.